Happy Sunday, fellow YouTube friends and family. What I'm gonna be doing today is getting some stuff done on this car. Kind of been stagnant, and so I need to get shit done. But I have everything done, ready for this. I kind of been holding off because I'm waiting for damn turbine flange to come in, but that shouldn't, hold me back. So, in order to be productive today, I'm gonna go ahead and install, this oil pan spacer that has the AN fittings for the sides to drain back oil into the turbo. Since I am not twin turbo, what I'll be doing is using one of these plugs to come in on the side, and that shall be fine and dandy. So, and then along with that comes with the spacer for the pickup tube that definitely needs to be installed. And then I have, my feed, my return, and all that. That's going to be, of course, the feed for the block. And a little thing what I do with these guys, and these are your cheap things. This basically comes like an orifice valve, but I'm running a journal style turbo. So what I ended up doing, what I am going to do is drill this out to the same diameter as a, I believe it's 3/16, which is a 3AN. There's a lot of debate on, these kits, when you're running that, especially your whole sets, go with the 4AN, go, whatever feed, do I put a restrictor or not, generally on, not general, well, yeah, I can say generally, but on journal style bearings for the turbines, what do you call it, the center shaft, you don't want to use a restrictor because it's basically coming similar to like what cams, are, bearings inside your mains and rods. So you need to have, like a little bit of amount of, what do you call it, oil to be inside there versus, ceramic ball bearings. They don't require that much oil. And so you need to put a restrictor. So general kind of rule of thumb, what most people do is just run a 3AN line, which I believe equates to about 3/16 or maybe 1/16. I don't know, some number. But basically what I'll do is I'll just drill that out to mimic that, and then that should be good to go. And then even so, like this one's somewhat, got like a restriction. It's not opened up all the way, but go ahead and start doing that. Basically, first line of business is to get under the car, get your little creeper if you got one. These things work great when you're working in, and I already drained oil to the motor, and then just basically unbolt these 10s, clean up the surface area and all that. But then look at how this is the 350Z sway bar. Just look how it just sits so pretty. So there's clearance for the oil pan, unlike KA's, where if you had to change the oil pan out on the car, or even take it out if you wanted to weld a bung, or whatever you had to do with the oil pan, it was like you had to do that and then drop the subframe a little bit so you can what do you call it, drop it out. It was, yeah. So this is pretty sweet that this is like this. But so I'm gonna go ahead and take out these 10 bolts, and then pop that down, and we'll see what's up inside the engine. Alright, so this motor was opened up, or someone did oil pan gasket on here, whatever they did. So this is what, just a little tip. Get a flat blade screwdriver to get in there. Don't try putting in and then like just yanking down, because you might bend the lip on this guy. So what you do is, get a nice knife from your kitchen that, this one's old, so obviously I wasn't eating with that. But, if you don't have one, and then just, go and work it in there and just start cutting out the RTV, like that. And once you start doing it and working it on different sides, it'll make it definitely much easier and less reason for possibly damaging the oil pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and, it was just a little tip for you guys. And then you see here goes the, used to be the oil level sensor for the car, which I'm gonna pull that out and then put that, and then I'm gonna have to just get another oil sensor. I had one, but I sold it with my block because I couldn't get the sending unit off, and you know, just a little incentive for the guy who bought it. But anyhow, let me go ahead and get back to work. Alright, so when you're pulling this thing off, you know, like doing that trick to open it, and you know, this side was a little bit hard, so I couldn't get the knife in on this side, so I just ended up, you know, just pulling it, and eventually it came off. But when it lets go, it lets go. So make sure you have a lot of rags with you. You know, although you drain the motor, it's still gonna have, you know, residual oil. So here goes the cool thing. You know, there goes that pickup tube that I gotta put that spacer in as well. But we got 4-bolt mains. It's like a windage tray, you know, oil baffle. What do you call it? You know, everything, you know, kind of about this motor's been over developed. So that's why, you know, I'm wondering why there's not too much development on these. I know everyone's still stuck on 1J, 2J, but when you can't find the J no more, y'all's gonna be looking for the Q. So, you know, this is pretty straight. I mean, I wish they had the VQ in a cast iron block, but you know, the kind of thing that sucks is open deck. But you know, for the horsepower that I'm looking for, I should be able to make it stock block and be happy. So that's you know what it looks like from underneath here. You know, when you're trying not to get oil falling on me. Yeah, but the crank's now oil pump there, and the whole jazz. Whoever had this motor, they didn't really change the oil too much, as you can see. You know, just that buildup. You see how when you clean it away. But you know, whichever. Rotella will clean her up. So, all right. Then, you know, good stuff in here is that, you know, you're looking at the oil and you don't see no metal shavings in here or foreign objects that shouldn't be in there. So this motor's you know, should be pretty healthy. So we'll see. All right, now I'm just gonna go and clean this up. I usually use a wire brush. You know, it's quick, effective, and it's a bronze one, or you know, brass one, so it doesn't cut in. It's not a steel wire brush. So make sure when you're doing that you know, you use something that doesn't eat away too much of the material, you know. Alright, so I got this all cleaned up. You know, the reason, you know, I like wire brush, it just works fast, but you know, first get off a lot of the excess with the razor blade. But since, you know, this has this channel, it's easier. I went a little too crazy there. I wasn't paying attention. You know, but there's like a little bit left right there. Like, I'm just gonna go and, you know, what do you call it? Touch it back up. Make sure that's all clean. The pan's clean. You know, kind of like a whole damn new part. So at least that's clean. And then underneath, what I do is do the razor blade trick. Take off most of the material. You see, like that. That's all from over there, and then just take, you know, the same thing and let's clean it up. And I'm looking inside there because there's a whole bunch of what do you call it? RTV that was just hanging over. So what happens, you know, that could possibly get picked up in the pickup tube. And let's see how clean that looks. Let's see if we can get a focus. Yeah, see a little bit of RTV right there. So that's what happens. So it could, you know, if you get a whole bunch of block up and you have oil starvation, so just be careful with your RTV. But now I'm about to go and figure out, oops, go ahead and redo, put on the spacer on there, and then once I get that done, then figure out, you know, that mounts the spacer, and then we should be good to go. So alright, so in this kit, you know, they supply this spacer. They got these 4, you know, brass rings, but you know, it's like it's the diameter of that, but Yeah, I don't like that because you're trying to, put this to, make up any flaws. It's, basically like a crushed gasket, similar to what you use for power steering lines and other things of that nature. But I mean, this is machined down pretty nice. Let's see, like you see, it'll sit like that, go whichever. But I'm just gonna, RTV, between this side and this side, so it'll be good to go. What was very odd is that the stock one didn't have a washer there. Generally, not even a washer, but a gasket. Like the K's, they had them, so but they machined this true and flat that they knew it wouldn't leak, or whatever the case. But anyhow, that's my course of action, is to RTV, set up in the block, bolt it down with these supplied screws, then RTV both sides of this, so it'll basically flip it. It will sit like this, and then these replacement bolts will come up through. So that's what's gonna happen next. Alright, so that's installed with the supplied bolts and the spacer, and you see how the RTV is just coming out just a little bit. You don't need to put that much to make it like seep out, because then eventually it could fall off, get caught up in the pickup tube, or if not, really when you're on top, if you put too much in, I guess it could clog up an oil gallery or some shit, but basically that's installed. See how low it's sitting now, and so I will put that other spacer and we shall be good to go. Alrighty guys, what's going on? So we're back here, completed install. So what do you call it, here goes the spacer. Made it to the block with that. There's a little bit of RTV sticking out. Here goes my 10AN fitting that will come from the turbo, which will come draped down. Then I installed the oil sending unit, and so basically what I did was, I know I want to get a oil pressure gauge, so I know it will fit better on this side. It's more clearance more than this one, so that one's real close to the stock oil cooler. Yeah guys, this is an oil cooler, if you guys didn't know. And what's notorious about these guys is there's a little black O-ring behind there, a $10 part or a $4 part, and eventually over time it leaks coolant. So you just take out the oil filter. I think it's like a 21 millimeter socket or nut. Take that, block that off, and then you can just change out that quick thing. But at least that's all looking nice and clear. Then on this side, since this was intended, originally developed for the twin turbo kits, here goes another drain, and then there's a port over there. I'm over here like kind of all crooked, but yeah, so you see there goes the blockage, and then this one over here, like I guess so you could put an oil temp sensor on there, but we should be good. So that's basically there. So underneath the car, it's kind of looking like that. Once I run my dump tube, that's all gonna, not dump tube, but drain, that'll be on. So at least that's all set and done, and the oil's hooked up. So it's just putting those on and getting on that. But I haven't done that because I'm waiting for my flange. But just remember, when you're working with these VQs or any aluminum block, don't over tighten them. Be mindful. You don't want to strip out. Aluminum's very soft compared to a cast. See, and that's the difference. When you're working on a cast block and you over tighten, you're gonna break the bolt into there, and then you got to use a strut extractor coming out. I rather that scenario than you strip this guy out and then you have to retap it or helicoil it or you know, whatever. So just be careful when you're doing this. But besides that, we're good to go. So, all right, guys, late.